She already decided before you said a single word, before you tried to be funny, before you mentioned your job, before you even looked her way. She already made up her mind about you. And here's the part that'll mess with your head a little. She doesn't even know she did it. It happened automatically. It happened in the background of her brain while she was doing something else. And the worst part, most guys spend their entire lives trying to win someone over, using strategies that have zero effect on that automatic decision. But today, that changes. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn is not pickup lines, it's not tricks, and it's definitely not the kind of advice your buddy gives you when he's 3 drinks in. This is real psychology. This is how the human brain actually works when it comes to attraction. And once you understand it, you'll start seeing patterns everywhere, in your past, in your present, and definitely in your future. So don't go anywhere. And real quick, if you want more content that actually goes deep on psychology, relationships, and what really drives human behavior, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. It takes 2 seconds and it tells me you want more of this. Now let's get into it. Let's start with something most people never stop to think about. Why do some men seem to naturally attract attention without trying that hard? And why do other guys who are good-looking, successful, smart, funny, still seem to struggle? Why does it feel like effort and results are completely disconnected when it comes to this stuff? If you've ever worked hard to impress someone and watched it completely backfire, you already know what I'm talking about. You said all the right things, you were on your best behavior, you put in effort, and somehow it pushed them away. That moment right there, that frustrating, confusing, almost painful moment, that's actually the key to understanding everything we're going to talk about today, because that moment reveals something important. Attraction doesn't respond to effort the way you think it does. It doesn't reward trying harder. In fact, sometimes it punishes it, and the reason for that is deeper than most people realize. It goes all the way down to how the human brain processes signals, not words, not resumes, not achievements, signals, emotional signals, energy signals, present signals, things you can't fake, things you can't script, and things most guys never even think about.
So let's break it down into 3 core patterns. 3 things that either create genuine attraction or quietly destroy it before it ever starts. And I want you to pay attention to all 3 because they work together. Miss one and the whole thing falls apart. The first pattern, and this is the one that trips up more men than anything else, I call silent competence. Now what does that mean? It means the difference between a man who tells you he's confident and a man who actually is. And here's the thing. They don't look the same, they don't feel the same, and the brain knows the difference instantly. Think about the last time you met someone who spent the first 15 minutes of a conversation talking about how driven they are, how hard they work, how many goals they have, how they're building something big. Maybe you've done this yourself. Most guys have. And in the moment, it feels natural. You want her to know you're worth investing in, right? You want her to understand that you're going somewhere. So you talk about it. You explain it. You lay out the case for why you're a good option. And it lands flat every single time. You can see it in her eyes. Something dims a little. And you don't understand why, because everything you said was true. But here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. When a person over-explains their own value, the brain interprets that as insecurity. Not ambition, insecurity. Because people who are genuinely secure in who they are don't need to announce it. They don't need you to understand it. They don't need the validation of you nodding along. It's like the difference between a restaurant with a line out the door and a restaurant with a guy outside shouting that their food is amazing. One of those signals quality. The other signals desperation. And your brain knows which is which before you even consciously process it. Now compare that to a different kind of man. He doesn't talk much about what he's building. He doesn't volunteer his credentials. He's calm in conversation. He doesn't rush. He doesn't fill every silence with something impressive. He listens more than he talks. And when he does talk, it's measured. direct, genuine. There's something underneath that energy, a kind of groundedness that communicates one thing without saying it out loud. I already know who I am, and I don't need this conversation to confirm it. That hits completely differently. Not because it's mysterious or strategic, but because it's real. And real always lands harder than performed. The interesting side effect of this is something that surprises most people. When you stop trying to impress someone, they actually become more interested in you. Because now there's something to figure out. Now there's a question that hasn't been answered yet. Who is this person? What are they about? That curiosity, that open loop in her brain, is more powerful than anything you could have said. Because curiosity creates engagement, and engagement is what makes people stick around. So here's what I want you to take from this first pattern. Real confidence doesn't argue for itself. It doesn't need to. It just shows up. In how you hold yourself, in how you respond to pressure, in whether you need her approval to feel okay. And the single most powerful thing you can do, starting right now, is get comfortable enough with who you are that you stop needing to explain yourself to people who barely know you. That shift alone changes the entire dynamic. Not overnight, but it starts immediately. Now let's move into the second pattern, and this one is more subtle. But once you see it, you'll understand why some conversations feel electric and others feel completely forgettable. It's about the need to feel seen, not complimented, not flattered. Seen. There's a huge difference, and most guys completely miss it. Here's what I mean. Almost everyone moves through life playing a version of themselves, a curated version, the professional version, the social version, the version that says the right things, reacts the expected way, fits the role that's been assigned to them. And most interactions stay in that zone. Safe, predictable, surface level. You talk about work, weekend plans, your weekend plans, maybe a shared opinion about something. It's fine, but it doesn't create anything. It doesn't stick. And then sometimes, rarely, someone comes along who breaks that pattern. Not by being loud about it, not by going deep in a forced, let's get vulnerable right now kind of way, but by noticing something real, something small, something that slips past the curated version and hits the actual person underneath. It might be as simple as noticing that she laughs loudly at most things but gets quiet when a certain topic comes up. Or the way she seems confident in some situations but pulls back in others in a way that doesn't quite match the rest of her energy. Or the way she phrases something, not what she said, but how she said it, in a way that tells you something about what she's actually feeling beneath the words. When you quietly and naturally point something like that out, not in an analytical therapist kind of way, but in a calm, I see you kind of way, something shifts. Because now, the interaction isn't just surface level anymore. Now you're talking to the real person instead of the version she shows everyone else. And that feels rare. That feels like something. Here's the critical thing though. You cannot fake this. You literally cannot. Because the only way to notice real things about a real person is to actually be paying attention. And most men, honestly, aren't. They're too busy thinking about what they're going to say next, too busy managing how they're coming across, too busy in their own heads to actually be present in the room. And people feel that. They feel when someone is genuinely listening versus when someone is just waiting for their turn to talk. So the second pattern isn't really a technique, it's a practice. It's the practice of actually being present, of listening more than you speak, of being curious about the person in front of you rather than focused on how you're landing. Because when you're genuinely curious about someone, you naturally notice things. And when you reflect those things back in a real way, it creates a connection that feels different from anything she gets in most conversations. That connection isn't built on what you said, it's built on what you saw. And that takes us right into the third pattern, which is the most misunderstood one of the three. I call it calibrated presence. And it's about emotional balance, specifically the balance between availability and stability. Here's the problem on one end of the spectrum. A man who is emotionally needy, who constantly seeks validation, who needs reassurance, who gets anxious when she doesn't respond, who makes her feel responsible for his emotional state, creates a very specific kind of pressure. It's the kind of pressure that's exhausting to be around. Not because she's cold, not because she's playing games, but because when someone else's emotional stability depends on your behavior, it's a burden. It's weight. And weight makes people want to step back. Now here's the problem on the other end. A man who seems completely untouchable, emotionally flat, unresponsive, acting like nothing matters, projecting this cool detachment that says, "I don't really care about anything." That creates a different problem. It creates distance. And distance doesn't build attraction. It just creates emptiness. The sweet spot, the one that actually creates something real, is in the middle. A man who is genuinely stable in himself, who doesn't need her to behave a certain way in order to feel okay, who isn't desperately seeking her attention or her validation, but who is also clearly capable of genuine feeling, who is warm when warmth is called for, who is present, not performatively, but actually. That combination, self-sufficiency plus genuine warmth, is what creates real tension. The good kind of tension. The kind where there's space for curiosity, for investment, for the natural pull of wanting to know someone more. Not the pressure of need pushing from one side, not the coldness of distance pushing from the other. Just a steady, grounded, genuinely interesting person who has his own world going on, but who is still fully present in the room. That's where attraction lives, not in the extremes, in the balance.
Now I want to step back for a second, because I know where some minds might go with this. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't a formula for tricking someone into liking you. The reason these 3 patterns matter is because they're real. They're not performances you put on, they're qualities you build. Silent competence develops when you actually invest in yourself, your goals, your growth. Not as a strategy, but because it's the right way to live. The ability to see and understand people develops when you practice genuine presence and real curiosity. Emotional balance develops when you do your own work, when you stop making other people responsible for your feelings and start building internal stability. These aren't shortcuts, but here's what's true. When you build these things for real, everything else starts to fall into place. Not because you became better at attracting people, but because you became someone genuinely worth being around. And that changes every dynamic in your life. Romantic relationships, friendships, professional connections, all of it. Because the thing that runs underneath all 3 of these patterns is the same thing: authenticity. The real version of you, grounded, aware, present, not needing to perform. That is the most attractive thing any person can offer. Not a perfect line, not a polished story, just a person who actually knows themselves and doesn't need the approval of the room to feel okay. Here's how I want you to think about this practically. Think back to a time when you felt most like yourself, most grounded, most comfortable, not performing, not overthinking, just present. Maybe it was with close friends. Maybe it was doing something you love. Maybe it was in a moment you weren't even trying. Now think about how you showed up in those moments compared to when you were trying to impress someone. The difference in your energy, your pacing, your posture, your words. That version of you, the one that shows up when you're not trying, that's the one people are actually attracted to. Not the rehearsed version, not the highlight reel, the real one. And the entire goal of everything we talked about today is just this: to help you bring that version of yourself into more moments, including the ones where it matters. Because when you're genuinely in that state, not overthinking, not performing, just present and grounded, something interesting happens. You stop chasing reactions. You stop monitoring every word. You stop calculating outcomes. And you start leading. Not loudly, not forcefully, just naturally. Because you're not reacting to the room anymore. You're showing up in it. And that shift, from reacting to leading, is invisible but unmistakable. People feel it without being able to explain it. They just want to be around you more. And you didn't do anything except stop trying so hard to make that happen. That's the whole thing. That's all 3 patterns. Stop trying to prove. Start practicing presence. And build the kind of inner stability that doesn't depend on how any single conversation goes. Do that consistently, and you won't need to think about any of this consciously anymore. It just becomes who you are. If something in this video clicked for you, if you recognized yourself in any of these patterns, if something here explained an experience from your past that you couldn't quite figure out, drop a comment below and tell me which part hit hardest. I genuinely read every comment and I want to hear your perspective. And if you know someone, a friend, a younger brother, someone you care about who's struggling with this stuff, share this video with them. Not because it has all the answers, but because sometimes one idea, heard at the right moment, genuinely changes how someone sees themselves. And that matters. Stay sharp.